here's the other thing too with the influencers is that, and tying it back into this other the PhD guy that I talked about before, is that the vast majority, the overwhelming majority of fitness influencers, they have no formal education whatsoever in exercise science, like none. I think that's where some of the pushback coming from is that population. They're pushing back against science guys because they don't have any science to back up. They're just going by their credentials. It's how they look in Speedos.
Yeah.
How they look in their underwear.
Yeah.
Right? So you get a guy like this now who's got a PhD and he says it's evidence-based stuff, right? And that kind of, they punch all kind of holes in that. But again, so they're just like, see, that's what, how much else is out there that's fake? That science is pushing, right? But the fitness influencers, it's going back to a point that you made earlier too, is their credentials are, that's why if you see their videos, almost none of them are wearing shirts if they're wearing shirts at all, it doesn't have sleeves on them. Because they're covering up. If they do, they're covering up their credentials. That's their credentials.
That is their credentials.
If they get improvement on a certain program, you got to remember when they tell you this program followed, that's what they're doing. That doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And of course, you never know what kind of performance enhancing drug or other,
or just extremely incredible genetics they have, right? As well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's this massive survivorship bias with influencers like that, or selection bias. It's just so well articulated and embodied by science. I think it's embodied by science. Doug McGuff explores this, and he talks about, we're always looking for the most efficient way to find truth, because we're like, we're trying to expend the least energy to get whatever we need, right, as human beings. And it's like, by looking at someone who's in great shape, it's like the fastest way, but it's not, it's obviously, it's ineffective, right? But it plays tricks on our mind. And I guess it's up to us, right here on this podcast to kind of say to people like, hey, you've got to understand that those individuals have completely different genetics. Like as Doug wrote in your book, you could throw tomatoes at them and they'd look like that. And it's being really aware of that. And I think it just comes back to, I guess, what I was trying to say with trying to find credible individuals who may not look the part, but have the real credentials and are behind some of the most highest quality literature out there.